Hi everybody, this is Rose of Sharon and I'm back again with another series review. I just recently finished, actually I binge watched Big Mouth Season 4 and I have to say there were some things I enjoyed about the series and aspects that I didn't really care too much about. Other YouTubers have mentioned this, but I really felt that Andrew and Nick's friendship was rushed back into. They patched things up a little bit too quickly, but I honestly wanted to see them back together as friends anyways. The two twin characters are still horrifying. No one mentions the twins ever. At first I liked them just because they resemble a more progressive lifestyle and libertarian point of view, and they come from Europe, and there are a lot of good points that we've seen them take on before. I thought, yeah, Europe is definitely more free when it comes to expressing their sexual ideals, and yeah, needless to say, they didn't go into that at all. They were just flat out talking about cannibalism, and it just, yeah, I'm not really comfortable talking about that particular subject, honestly. But they weren't the focus, thank goodness. We had our returning characters, and we were introduced to a slew of new characters at the camp. I thought that Jessie's story was really quite excellent. I didn't care that she had more drama with her period. I just thought that was unnecessary. I thought, why are you putting this poor girl through such trauma? I really liked Jessie's character, and to see her going through anxiety and depression, I thought, yeah, it hit home for me. It really did, because I'm going to tell a little bit about myself if you've watched me before. I've been misdiagnosed with general anxiety disorder and depression ever since I was 21. I think I had all the telltale signs of depression when I was younger, but it was actually more than that. After my dad passed away, they diagnosed me with bipolar type 1 unknown, because I fell into a category that has no definition. I'm outside of the norm. I thought, well, I don't know if I should consider that a compliment or a slight. Actually, I consider it a compliment, and being bipolar type 1 really doesn't define me. It just gives me more understanding of who I am, and I'm not held back by labels. It doesn't frighten me, honestly. I've got more energy than I know what to do with, but I consider that a plus. But getting back to the story of Big Mouth, lots of spoilers ahead. I did enjoy this. I really enjoyed this season. I thought the season was really quite well executed. The 9/11 episode was kind of tasteless. Actually, it was very tasteless. I felt really bad for Coach Steve. What Matthew did to Coach Steve. Well, he redeemed himself later, but just the beginning of that episode just. And then they made this comment about Generation Xers who grew up with 9/11, which actually I found very funny, being a Generation Xer myself. But I'll never forget. Ever can't. I didn't have anybody who I knew was involved in the tragedy, but nonetheless, it changed my entire world. Everybody's world. And I love the fact that they had a trans character, and her story was her name is Gabriella, I think. Yeah, Gabriella. I really, really liked her. I thought that the introduction of Tito the anxiety mosquito was really quite well done. They got rid of the anxiety armadillo. I didn't think that was very. I personally think mosquitoes representing anxiety are so much more accurate than an armadillo, although armadillo would make sense, but I can see why they changed it. Depression Kitty makes a comeback with anxiety. Who knew? Well, I did. The two go hand in hand if you know anything about depression and being affected by it. And they introduced the Gratitoad. I love the Gratitoad is probably one of my favorite monsters. Shane Wizard was brought back for one, and I adore the Shane Wizard. I think he should be in more episodes, but we just get to see him one last time with Andrew. That part, I don't know why, but that particular episode made me crack up. I thought that the storyline with Jesse dropping out of school and meeting Michelangelo was very well done. I thought that the arc about masturbation and hand jobs, I thought it was extremely well tackled, done in a very kind of cringe-worthy way, but it was very informative. One thing I really enjoyed was Missy's search for her identity. A lot of characters were going through this, particularly Nick, and defeating himself and becoming a lost soul. And I think giving oneself over to generalized panic disorder and getting so lost in that and just transforming into a completely different person. Basically, the worst side of oneself, and he redeems himself. Andrew redeems himself, which I was very pleased to see, because I like Andrew's character. He's a jerk, but I just feel like deep down he's a good person. He's been dealt a very crappy hand. Now I see Jay and Lola. I thought that was a very nice little storyline to see their relationship blossom, and the ending of that was just very, very heartbreaking. And I thought, oh, Jay, poor baby. Lola being clueless as to how to respond, because it shows just how much Jay really desires that human connection and appreciation. We all do, and I thought, ooh, that hit home. It really hit home for me. What Lola said hit home for me too, because I fall into that category of men who come into my life and then ultimately leave. But hopefully 2021 that will change. I actually know it will change. I've become a much better person since the quarantine. I've improved vastly. What else can I say? The code talking, the code switch. I know all about that. It wasn't news to me. Personally, I think that most of us have a code switch, even girls. This is true. Girls have their own version of the code switcher, because it depends on who we're talking to, especially as women. And I don't necessarily do that, because I'm myself. I used to be different when I was in middle school, because I wanted to fit in with other people. I became the class clown until I realized people were laughing with me rather than laughing at me, rather than laughing with me. And that was the year that my best friend decided to move on. I've ultimately forgiven her. I've never spoken to her ever again. She wrote a letter to me, but I thought, no. Particularly because she was taking advantage of my parents' good nature and goodwill, including my own. And it hurt. It was the biggest betrayal I've ever been through. Um, I think that was the one that hurt the most, honestly. But I wish her the best. I know that she's got a very happy family life right now. And I think she has a couple kids, but other than that, I really haven't heard that much from her. But it reminded me of that in my adolescence. I guess I was going through kind of a arrested development, because I really didn't start noticing. Well, I kind of started noticing guys when I was in high school, but I really didn't start blossoming until I was 21, and then full on depression. That's what they diagnosed me with, full on clinical depression. I thought, I could have told you that, doc, but yeah, it was a very interesting journey that I embarked upon. I wouldn't have changed it for any other thing. But I like I said, I enjoyed this season. Matthew's story was the most poignant, other than Jay's as well. It's like I said, that Maslow's hierarchy appreciation is at the pinnacle of it, and we could see that play out for him, and it's heart-wrenching. And I don't know, there were a lot of good things. Like I said, the twins, yeah, they could. Why do they just write them out? I mean, it's kind of mean to say that, but just write them out. I don't. They disturb me. Usually I love twin characters, but those two I'll make an exception for, because they're very, very, very unsettling. Lola inadvertently causing a murder in kindergarten. Yeah, and then of course Nick, his nightmare, his future vision, his premonition of the future. I thought that the game show, yeah, that was very much crossing the line, even for Big Mouth. But I'm still gonna watch the show. And normally I don't like Seth Rogen, but I thought that the role he played was just him all over. He was just brilliant. He was very funny. I liked him. He was a very gross and bombastic character, and I enjoyed him. Plus he played a Canadian character, which made me giggle quite a bit. There were some lines in the series this season that just had me rolling. I don't know what else to say, honestly, other than I look forward to. Apparently, it's getting renewed for two more seasons, so I love the fact that it gets very meta in its humor, especially with Missy and her voice actress, and the fact that she's voiced by an actual black woman makes more sense, particularly with the things she's had to say this season. But that's basically all I have to say about Big Mouth. So until next time, live long and prosper. Ciao, Titi.